Hello friends, in this video tutorial we will be discussing about the terminologies which are used in IC engines. First term is the bore. Bore is the inner diameter of the engine cylinder. This is your engine cylinder. The inner diameter of the engine cylinder is called as bore. Second is the stroke. It is the linear distance traveled by the piston when it moves from one end of the cylinder to the other end of the cylinder. So when the piston will move from the top of the cylinder to the bottom of the cylinder, the length of that travel will be called as stroke. Vice versa, if the piston will move from the bottom end of the cylinder to the top end of the cylinder, then that displacement is also called as stroke. Third is your dead center. In vertical engines, the top position of the piston is called as top dead center. As you see in this figure, TDC is called as top dead center. So when the piston is at the topmost position, that position is called as top dead center. And when the piston is at the bottom position, then that position is called as bottom dead center. As you see in this figure, BDC is the bottom dead center. Fourth term is the clearance volume. Clearance volume is the volume which is contained between the piston top and the cylinder head when the piston is at the top or the inner dead center. So when the piston is at the top dead center, then whatever the volume which is there between the piston and the cylinder, that volume is called as clearance volume. As you see in the figure, this volume is clearance volume VC. Let's understand the stroke volume. It is the volume displaced by the piston in one stroke. One stroke means the displacement of the piston from TDC to BDC or from BDC to TDC. And that volume is shown in this figure. So whatever the pink shaded region, that volume is called as stroke volume. Now stroke volume can be represented as pi by 4 d square into L, where d is the bore diameter and L is the stroke length. Next is the compression ratio. It is the ratio of total cylindrical volume to the clearance volume. So compression ratio is the ratio of total cylindrical volume, that is the clearance volume plus swept volume upon the clearance volume. For petrol engine, the compression ratio range is between 6 to 10, whereas for the diesel engine, this range is between 14 to 20. Last term is the piston speed. It is the average speed of the piston and it is equal to 2ln, where n is the speed of the crank in revolution per second. So piston speed can be considered as 2 times the stroke length into the speed of the crank upon 60 in meter per second. Now in order to understand this, let us consider the piston and the cylinder mechanism. So this is your cylinder and the piston. Now when the piston will complete 2 strokes, your crank will move by 1 revolution. So in 2 strokes, your crank will move by 1 revolution. That's why we need to consider in the piston speed, we need to consider 2 times L. Fine. So 2 times L means 2 stroke length in 1 revolution, and that has to be multiplied by the number of revolution. The number of revolution is in minutes, that is rotation per minutes. In order to convert the minute into second, we are using 60. So this is how your piston speed will be 2 times L into N by 60. I hope you understand all the terminologies which are used in IC engines. Thanks for watching.